Hello and welcome to some coverage of the midnight pre-release at Cheap Thrills for Oath of the Gatewatch Limited. We have Oliver on the left and Cat on the right. Players are just shuffling up and waiting to see what they draw. This format I have found personally to have been a much better version of the Zendikar format. The colourless mana in particular has added quite a lot to the play of the format, and you can even get away with 3 or 4 colours, including a colourless source in your deck for cards that want it. You see Ollie starting out with a Lumbering Falls. Not had much good play in Constructed, but it has been on people's watch lists. They get a look at Pathway Arrows. Commonly seen in the sideboard, if you see a lot of colourless creatures, you can really do some damage there, but Cat's clearly playing in the main deck for some purpose. Here's Blinding Drone. Now this is one of the key cards of Oath of the Gatewatch Limited. Really standout, uncommon, or common in fact, which really capitalizes on wanting lots of colourless sources in your deck. The tap effect for a single colourless mana has been excellent, has stand out of Limited for quite a while. And here with his Stonehaven Outfitter, well, there's a reason to play the Pathway Arrows. Quite a strong play. We'll see what Ollie has to respond with. He's taking a look at his options here. Must have a lot going on in that hand. He just passes the turn, so planning on tapping down the Outfitter when it attacks, possibly just blocking. Blinding Drone is a 1/3, it can tussle with that 2/2. And Cat plays out an Eldrazi Mimic. Standout card in Modern, the Eldrazi Menace has been rampaging over, and that has been a key part of it. Not quite as good in Limited, you can't just play it on turn 1 with 3 of its friends. Ollie possibly thinking about a counterspell? I'm not sure if it's resolved. Certainly got some kind of response. Or not. Looks like it's resolving and tapping down the Stonehaven Medic as expected. End of turn, untapping. That Pathway Arrows is going to be very good on the Eldrazi Mimic. Getting another +1/+1 on top of the Arrows' ability. Ollie being very deliberate with his play, he's not wanting to make any mistakes. Taps the colourless mana source. Captain's Clause is seeing play and getting equipped. It's a card that some people find is quite good, others are not so keen on it. It's quite good in this spot. Getting in for the additional token with only a 1 toughness creature blocking it means that is not going to be blocking, it's going to get in and stick around. Sometimes those tokens just disappear immediately. Cat looks like she's struggling for a second colour of mana at the minute. She's all on plains. There's a mountain. See what she can do with this. Touch of the Void on the Blinding Drone. Now that's an excellent opportunity there. But it looks like it's getting regenerated. That Devoid regeneration card you see at the top there gives it +2/+0 and regenerates it. Very strong on offense and defense. Callback to Boon of Erebos, but it doesn't have a drawback. It doesn't lose you 2 life, unlike that other card did. And that other card was pretty good in a format where you could enable Heroic. This time instead, it's got colourless synergy. Cat gets in for 4 while she has the opportunity to. Ollie plays another Manland, I think, I see. It's got quite a good board here. Now that he's got the token, he can start running the token in. Even if Cat had blockers up, that would still be generating another token, and gets to keep the Blinding Drone back on defense to stop any return fire. And Cat dropping down to 14. Those pathway arrows can start taking down the 1/1s if Cat can get a bit of purchase on this board, falling behind a little bit, but the pathway arrows could catch her back up. Both players taking a little while on their plays. Neither player wanting to make any mistakes, because we're currently in quite a tight race. Cat goes to equip the pathway arrows to the Eldrazi Mimic, but in response, before it equips, Oliver taps it down, stopping the pathway arrows from being able to be used. I think Ollie's just explaining the interaction to make sure that the timing was correct on that one. And Cat just settles for getting in for 2 while she can. Ollie draws, plays another swamp. Keeping that colourless mana well aside. He definitely wants to be using his Blinding Drone as often as possible. Keep that Eldrazi Mimic tapped down. And he gets in for another couple of points of damage. Gets another token. That's going to drop Cat down to 10. A double black. Is this going to be a Grasp of Darkness? No, it's a Dominator Drone, and on this board, that's pretty good. Blocks both of Cat's creatures and drains her for 2 in the process, dropping her down to 8. Cat looks like she's desperately seeking a 5th land here. It looks like all of her plays are either quite situational or too expensive. A variety of powerful 5-drops she could have in her hand. Expedition Raptor, one of the least flashy, but certainly on this board it would be pretty good. Instead, she gets a Warden of Geometries. That is going to give her a 5th mana next turn, except it meets with a Spell Shrivel, countered and exiled. That's really rough. She's now struggling to get any board presence. Now she really needs to hit that 5th land if she's going to get back into this game. Unfortunately, she is only able to pass the turn back. The Pathway Arrow is not able to be used now because it does cost mana as well as tapping the creature. Her board should now hold off the tokens, but they are expendable. Ollie can just get in with them. He might just be happy to rumble, could even tap down a creature before combat if he wanted to get very aggressive. There's 2 types of auctions. There's an auction to build with it or an auction to not have to build with it. Ollie making some consideration to, I believe, the card he just drew. He's doing some maths. Cat can't be happy about that. That is a Seagate Wreckage, I believe, so if Ollie does get to use the last card in his hand, that can start drawing him cards. And he's animating the Lumbering Falls. While not getting constructed yet, it's going to do a lot of damage here. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, plus the 2 3-power creatures. That's 11. It looks like, yep, that's going to be game. Cat could block the 3-2 and get a trade there, but she is exactly dead. And game 1 goes to Mr. Martell. So while Ollie shuffles up for game 2, Cat's looking at her sideboard, see what she can do here. And now we're into game 2. It looks like Ollie might have kept his hand with Cat possibly taking a mulligan. Looks like 6. Ollie almost dropping his cards there, giving away the fact that he has some lands in hand. I don't think that will be particularly useful. And Cat once again leading off with the plains. And Ollie leading off with the Lumbering Falls. We've seen this before. And this time Cat has access to the red on turn 2. That's good, but no 2-drop. And here comes Slaughter Drone. Card I'm quite a fan of, though it is just a 2/2 for 2. It has minor upside in the later game. In Limited, bears that can trade up are quite strong. But this one does rely on you having colourless mana, and it looks like Ollie has a few colourless sources in his deck, but also quite a few ways of dealing with it. But he's going very aggressive here. Blue-black, not always known for its aggression, but gets in 2, then gets in another 2 with a Dominator Drone. And now gets in 5, and that's going to be an ingest, and it looked like Cat missed her 3rd land. This might be a very quick game. There's Sludge Crawler, excellent 1-drop, can always trade up in the late game. And now it looks like Ollie's just spamming the board with things. Well, there's the 3rd land. See if Cat can actually get out of this. Wall of Resurgence isn't a bad one. Another card on which opinion is quite split as to whether it's any good or not. It can be very risky to expose your land on turn 3 to removal from your opponent when you're this far behind. This will block one of the creatures, probably the Dominator Drone, to prevent one ingest, even though Sludge Crawler will also get in. And there's the block. There's 3 getting in, taking Cat down to 8, ingesting 1. And it looks like... does the land live? Does it get to block next turn? There's 6 mana for Kozilek's Pathfinder. Well, it's not the strongest 6-drop, it's only a 5/5, but it's colourless, and with very few blockers in play, I don't think Cat is long for this world. Plentiful colourless sources. If Cat plays a 2-drop here, Ollie can tap his Hedron Crawler and his 2 colourless lands, colourless producing lands, to stop all 3 of them blocking Kozilek's Pathfinder and guarantee 5 damage. And he needs 1 more from some other source. One of the creatures has been tapped. That land needs to provide mana, it can't just sit back and block. There's a Chitinous Cloak, but I don't think it's going to do much good. I think the writing is on the wall, and even Cat knows it at this point. Ollie taking his time though, making sure he's got everything right, making sure the maths is correct. Draws. Let's see if he's seen the lethal that's on board. This should just be a simple activate Kozilek's Pathfinder to stop all the Resurgence blocking, attack with all creatures. You can get in 5 with the Pathfinder, and then Dominator Drone or Sludge Crawler plus Slaughter Drone will get in. Though Ollie seems to have different ideas. He's tapping 5, and then untapping 5. And I think that's going to be game here. He almost decided to play a card, but instead just saw the lethal on board. And there's the count of 8, and that is going to be game. There we go.